Hello everyone and welcome back to another Smite Siege gameplay. So I've just left in the start there. I don't know if you could see it very well, just if you couldn't go back, pause it. Although I don't think I started recording on time anyways, but I left in a couple seconds of everything there. Basically, what happened at the start of this as this game started was I selected Xbalanque, somebody else selected Ula. It was exactly the same time, there was no discussion going on whatsoever. And he just auto-locked Ula, like just picked Ula, saw that I picked Xbalanque, and then went lock. So I was like, fuck that guy, lock. And that's what happens. That's what I do when people pick without discussing. I just lock in the character that I've locked in because, well, that I wanted to play. Because like that's what you discuss things. You look at the composition. You think, well, how can I compromise so that we win? Because this is a recorded game. Like the stats are recorded. So yeah. And then there was this huge conversation going on that you missed half of because I started recording halfway through it. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna let Shadow Player go boop like that. And basically the Scylla, I can't remember the person's name, I'm just going to go by the god names. The Scylla was like, GG, well played. And I just said, well, the guy was a dick, and when people do that, I just lock in the god that I want to play. So I did. And then he was like, well, we're gonna lose now because you're gonna suck early game. And it was quite funny. You could see that bit. And then there was some foreign language going on. I don't know what they were talking. So it could have been Russian or I don't know, Spanish. I have no idea what they were saying. So yeah, the going into this, I did not have high hopes at all. But the thing is with Smite is you can have an all physical composition yet still win. It's one of those weird games that skill does matter. So if we have 3 physical characters, you would think they would make physical defense and be all merry, and Scylla will just do a bunch of damage. So, you know, it's just one of those things, and there was a huge fuck up here. So I saw on the map that they were also going to blue buff, so I was just like, I'm going to turn around, hopefully the Wukong will follow me. He did not. He went and helped them with their blue buff, and I'm not going to take a buff camp by myself. Like, there is not enough time for me to go to lane. And she said awesome there. There's not enough time for me to do the camp and then go to lane before they've made too much gain on our tower. It's just not feasible. So I just went straight to lane and realised that, oh dear, they've kind of already there with their buffs. So if you are wondering how people get to lane so damn quickly in Siege, they're like, why are they in the lane before us and already pushing up our to our tower? It's probably because they have hog. So this was a very interesting start. Unfortunately, they managed to kill our Wukong before my poison done its damage on Xbalanque, who is quite a fun god. It's weird though because Xbalanque's incredibly good, but I'm not very great at him. It's a common theme with Guardians. I'm not great at playing Guardian support. I can play Warrior support quite well, but Guardian support I'm quite poor at. So it's somewhere to work on. Anyways, I'm going to talk about my character for a little bit. So Xbalanque used to be a very powerful but weak god because he just did not have the means to stay in lane for the early game. He was very easily punishable. He would always run out of mana. He just had so many issues, and it was very rare that you could get to the late game with Xbalanque because you just got shut down so easily because you just had mana issues. Like your main damage is in hand. Like you just throw your what are they called? Bowlers? You throw your bowlers. Your basic attack. You throw your basic attack, and that's where your damage comes from. It's not. If you look at his kit, he has a bit of a slow. I think it's a bit of a slow, anyways. With his darts, he can do a lot of damage with his. His one. I'm just watching this team fight, and I'm just like, oh dear, how is this going to go down? But yeah, Xbalanque is so good. So. What was I saying? I was hoping to pick up Loki there, but he's gone, and he was going on them. And I was sad. The Wukong should have come back in. We could have got that kill so easily, but meh. What are you going to do? Anyways, as I was saying, I'm getting distracted. Xbalanque is just all in hand. He has some good damage with his 2. He has a relatively poor escape, to be honest, with his 3. The only decent part about it is it has that slight second of CC immunity when he's in the air. However, you can't vault over obstacles or anything like that. You still take damage, and it's just one of those awkward things. Like, it makes him a very hard to play God, and his ultimate does no damage whatsoever. It's just like a stun, and it helps you land more basic attacks in that. So I wasn't, when you're doing builds as the old Xbalanque, when in the old version of Smite where you didn't have a Bluestone Pendant, you just had to go a 2-1-3 build or something like that. You would max out your darts first, and then just, you know, do your in-hands when you could with your bowlers, and you'd only max out after getting Transcendence or something like that, and it was very difficult to play in because you just had constant mana problems. So with the introduction of Bluestone, it just solved all those things, and Cabrakan really wanted my bacon here. I think he gets it. Yeah, my dash wasn't up on time. See, Cabrakan's a very powerful god, and he's very annoying in that if you don't have some form of CC immunity, he's very difficult to escape from, just because he's got that utility. He can stun you, he can then tremble you, which is so freaking irritating. And if he's got what is it called, gem of something. I always buy this gem. I can't remember what the gem of isolation, I believe it's called. It slows with every like a bit magical based ability that you do. So I've had a good start and I've had a poor start here because I don't have enough health to counteract Cabrakan yet, because he's probably just putting all his points in 3 and that's doing stupid amounts of damage to me and I can't escape. So yeah, it's an awkward start, but it's a good start for Xbalanque. Normally this would be like a 0-2-0 situation, but hello Scylla, thanks for helping out. Also, it didn't help that our lane started out quite awkwardly, and there goes my ultimate to hopefully just fend them off and keep them scared, because they were going to push quite hard, and here comes the Loki. It's a very difficult situation at the moment. So Siege is a 2v2. This is my favourite game mode, or 2v2, 2 lanes versus 2, just a 2 lanes, not 2v2. It's a 4v4, 2 lanes, one objective in the middle, which gives you another Siege Juggernaut. And it's my favourite game mode just because Conquest takes far too long. Siege can take a long time, but Conquest is just far too long. You need far too much time and a lot of coordination, and people just don't have that. So I think the chances of winning on pure player, like singular player skill, is a lot higher in Siege, just because you can make a lot of difference. You can gank quite quickly because the space between the lanes. And if you're a hunter, you can probably just take the Siege Juggernaut by yourself. You know, it's like the Gold Fury. It's a very I think it's popular anyways. It's a very good game mode, and look how squishy I am. That is the issue with Xbalanque. You have to back out quite damn quickly. But I managed to pick up Cabrakan, so a little bit of revenge. Apologies, Scylla. I kind of stole that. I didn't really want to. And I was thinking about going on this, and then I realised I have no lifesteal. So the build I'm going currently is pure attack damage. So you have 2 options with Xbalanque on boots. You can either go for Ninja Tabi now, which is a very good option for hunters, which gives you, it doesn't give you cooldown anymore, it gives you attack speed and a little bit of damage, and I went for that because attack speed on Xbalanque means more DPS, and rather than the Warrior Tabi, which is just pure power, it's just a very, very, very good option to have. So you'll notice it a lot better. So I do AoE damage as well, and the build that I like to go with Xbalanque is AoE crit. That's just how I play, and I'm really, really bad at getting penetration. So I get this attack speed item, which is great. It does damage in an AoE. I also have AoE in my one with the bowlers, and easy pickup here. Easy pickup. Look at that. But Scylla stole it because, you know, that's what happens. I think that was revenge for me stealing Cabrakan. She just come in and like, boop, he's dead. And I was like, I've done all the damage for that. But assists are still good. Siege Monster has been warded. So wards are very important in this game. If you don't get wards, you're probably going to be screwed over quite a lot, just because you need to know when ganks are happening. Ganks are so important. I had no idea how I done that. I think it was the bow that done it for me. I can't remember what it's called. It's not Ichval, it's the other one. I honestly can't remember what it's called. It's one of my favourite items though, because it does damage based on bounces, based on your based on your physical power. So if you have the more physical power you have, especially Xbalanque, where you get more in-hand damage and physical power with every kill you get, it's just so good. I think every kill is 10 more physical power. So at the moment I have an extra 40 because of that. Although, apparently I only have... There we go, I've got 75 now in total. So I hit really hard. Like, my in-hand damage is 157, and that is without activating my wand, which is just so good. So, Xbalanque, very good character. I haven't... Have I discussed... Yeah, I've discussed all his abilities. So, Bowler's in-hand damage, 2, his needles are for a slow and kind of almost AoE. It's an okay ability, but if they're escaping, you might want to use that. That's pretty much the only time I use it. I don't use it to clear waves. There's no point in it, just because each needle can only hit one target. So yeah, unless you're like point blank and get all your needles on one target, it's kind of doesn't do too much damage. It's just an okay utility ability. His 3 is good escape. His 4 is a good ganking kind of get away from my teammates kind of thing. So they're going after the Siege Juggernaut now. I think there's a fight going on here, which I may cock up. I'm not sure. At some point there was a fight there. It might have been the game previous. So yeah, I basically used my ultimate there to tell Loki to back off, just because I didn't want him pushing up the tower. But I'm going to go... I thought I was going to go for the Siege Juggernaut there, but I'm quite bad with my aim. However, when Xbalanque... yeah, I got him. When Xbalanque does his ground and pound, I don't know what it's called, his tremble ability, he's very vulnerable. Like, he can be stunned out of it, and he can just sit there taking loads of damage. Like, doesn't matter what his passive is, he just takes damage, and you have to be very careful when using that ability. So against Xbalanque, who does a crap ton of damage, I don't think it's a great idea. So, going back to my build, it's an attack speed build. I did not have time to stack up Devourer's Gauntlets or Devourer's Gloves. So, the difference between Dev Gloves and Bloodforge is that if you want more power, like if you have the time to stack it up, Dev Gloves is actually so much better than Bloodforge. But if you're like me in this game, was just like, I just want like a sudden burst of power and a lifesteal, I don't want to bother stacking up because it's Siege, there's only 2 waves and yeah, it's hard to stack up in this game. Oh, great use of Scylla still got the kill. Great use of Aegis Pendant though. Or Greater Aegis. Aegis Pendant lets you move. I think it's Greater Aegis that they used. So great use of that. That is, if I'm coming up against a Scylla or a Thanatos, I always get an Aegis just because like it gives, you're immune. They won't do any damage to you. So it's great to just piss people off. Alright, talking about composition, we have a relatively... I just completely ignored the Scylla getting pounded in the face there, and I was just like, I thought I had enough time to take the Phoenix, but I did not. So I was like, sorry Scylla, I thought I had enough time, but no, I expected you to escape as well. Oh well. So composition, 2 hunters, we got 3 physicals, so 2 hunters and a support warrior. Not ideal, but what can you do? We have Scylla, who is a pretty good burst mage. And there are people in the next room, and I hate doing commentaries when there are people in the next room. It's just so annoying. I don't want them to overhear me. So go downstairs, come on. I think they're hoovering, so we're alright. But still, Ulla is a very poor choice for a hunter. He has slow missile speed, which is, you know, how fast the basic attack actually goes. So he's got okay damage. He's very ability, utility based. I think I die here because of this. Or I might die. No, I did not. Okay, I managed to get him. I don't know how that happened, but here comes the Loki. So, yeah, I think he dies. Oh god, that was funny. Well, I got one, alright? It's fine. It's all you need. So we have Burst Mage, we have Ulla, who is probably, in my opinion, the worst hunter in the game. I just can't play Ulla. I don't like Ulla. In Dota, I like playing Troll Warlord, who's probably the closest resemblance, I don't know, the closest character to him in that game, but I think he's balls. He's just, I don't like him at all. Just the mix of close combat and ranged, and just, I don't like Ulla. He needs something to make him, I don't know, properly viable. He's got a good start, he's got utility, he's got great utility, but he's just so hard to play for most people, and I don't play him just because of that. I like my hunters to be pure in-hand, I don't want to rely on stupid things. So Neef is a good example of an ability-based hunter, but she's kind of a bit of both. So how she works is you're supposed to root people and then just go to town in their face. with your basic attacks, and she can do a lot of damage, and she can also kill across the map. She's a very good utility-based hunter. Xbalanque is not utility-based, he's purely in-hand based, as I keep saying. So I should have really gone for the attack speed, but it wasn't up, so I just went for the power buff, and Xbalanque also benefits from power. I do have quite a bit of attack speed already with Ninja Tabi, and it's not Iqbal. What is it? Something bow. I can't remember, but it's a very good bow. I am now finally going for my crit items, so it's always difficult to decide, do I go for Deathbringer or Rage first? And it's just depending on what you want. So Deathbringer gives you a good, I think it's 20% chance to crit, which isn't bad at all. Rage gives you a lot higher chance to crit, but it doesn't give you as much physical power. So Rage gives you something like 20-30 physical power, Deathbringer gives you 50. The advantages of going Deathbringer first is when I do crit, I crit for a lot of damage. Also, my bounces will do a lot more damage as well with my attack speed bow ability item. But Rage will crit more often, so it's kind of like, which is the best kind of thing for DPS? It's hard to say at the moment. I know I'm being attacked by the Phoenix, but we're doing so much damage at the moment. It doesn't matter. I can just easily just tank it up and lifesteal it back. So that's a death. I got so many things stolen from me, but yeah, I think this is pretty much coming up to the end of the game. Yes, it is. So that is Xbalanque in a nutshell. I could have done better. I could have got more kills, but it was quite a quick siege game. So yeah, we managed to win despite at the start the mage going, "Oh, we got 2 hunters, you dicks. We're going to lose because you're 95% going to suck in the beginning." Don't do that. If something like that happens, just be nice and just play, because you don't know what the skill's like for both teams. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next Smite video.